It's time to finish the game. Let's go.
Ball first and 10 at the 12-yard line of the Seahawks. Sean goes right, has a cut back lane, and he does. He's across the 20, the 25, 30, 35, 40. Here he goes. Are they going to catch him? 40, 35, 30, 25, 10, 5. Touchdown Seahawks. What a run by Sean Alexander.
Finish the game. We gonna finish the game. Yeah. Finish the game. We gonna finish the game. Yeah.
What's happening, everybody? This is Sean Alexander. You hear the music. I'm with my man, Claude Jennings.
Yes,
welcome
sir,
to
Sean.
Finish the Game.
All right, we're here in studio again talking to Sean Alexander, the 2005 NFL MVP, and some MVP guests trying to help us all be MVPs in life. And Sean, college football is upon us. And if you listen to the podcast late, it may have already started. I mean, if you listen to it on a Sunday or a Monday, but we're taping it on Wednesday. I mean, this is college football eve. Kickoff Thursday's coming up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man, we're so excited, so pumped. You know, whenever you get to talk about football, you realize it is the ultimate team sport. It's the only game that all 11 guys on the field got to play defense or the offense going to score. Everybody on the field's got a role to score some points. And if everybody don't do his job, that one guy on the wing of the field goal block team, if he don't do his job, the field goal's blocked. And then also the team's running around with the ball. We love football. It's got so many great things about it. I love the aspect of teamwork and everybody doing their job. It's football season. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you talk about getting things going. Today, we're going to talk about teamwork and importance of having a team around you and things like that. But first, your birthday was recently, man. You had a birthday again. If you listen to this on tape delay, you know, we may be a few days off or so, but you had a birthday 2 days ago. It was on Monday, man. How was Tuesday? How was your birthday?
Tuesday, August 30th. Your boy turned 39. I'm 364 days from 40.
Yeah, 2 numbers over your playing number, 37. No longer 37.
I'm 37 plus 2. You know, that's what I'm going to be. How old are you? I'm plus 2.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. And so you were hanging out with the kids in D.C., man. Packed them up and was hanging out.
Yeah, I did. You know, my way of having fun has always been a little bit different. The way I enjoy life is having everybody around me enjoy life. And so for me, I said, hey, I'm going to take all the kids and we're all going to go into D.C. and we're going to eat at my favorite breakfast brunch spot. So we all went to the Founding Farmers and ate some food, ate some chicken and waffles, had some lemonade. It was great. The kids were going nuts with that. And that cornbread. I know I'm getting all y'all all hungry again, but it was good. And then from that, we went over to the American Indian Native American Museum and just kind of looking at all the sites of how our country have formed together. And some of it was really shady, got to be honest. And some of it was really beautiful, all the treaties and patents that went on. And, you know, and basically all from the Native American perspective. I mean, the museum did a great job of explaining from their view and not just some of the views that we sometimes get with life, you know what I mean? And so it was really beautiful and fun. And then afterwards came back and had a candlelight dinner with Mama, and it was good. Yeah. It was fun all the way around. And so I got so many birthday shout outs from everybody all across this country, and even some people in other countries across this world. Thank you all very much for just saying you love me, you loved my impact on your life on the field, off the field, spiritually, family, father. Some kids said, well, he's a grown man now. He was like, hey, you used to challenge me to memorize Bible verses when I was before I was a teenager. And that would definitely be my personality. But I didn't recognize the kid, but there's definitely a handful of young men in Cheney that I just have great heart for that was a part of my life. I'd come off the field and they'd want gloves and helmets and things signed, and I would be a part of it. And they would come back and tell me what they were. I was like, wow, that's good. And, it was just a lot of fun. So thank you all to all your family and friends that sent out birthday love. You know, next year we'll be 40. Big party at Claude's house. But 40 is going to be special too. We're going to have, but I pretty much got to make these last 364 days in my 30s to be awesome. So every day's going to count. Every day's going to count. I'm just letting y'all know.
That's the way we do it. So let's talk about team. You had you heard a great quote coming into the studio this morning, and you wanted to share it and talk about your thoughts about it.
Yeah, you know, I was telling you that this morning. You know, the quote was this: the guy said, he said, "You couldn't become great until he got the word reality under control, until being unrealistic no longer was a ceiling for him. And so it just stirred in my own spirit that, gosh, I've always wanted to live my life like this, where stuff that's realistic means it's common. It's understood by people. It's understood by man. It's possible and reachable. But the great ones, they don't get there until their goals are unrealistic. I've always said in my life, the key is success, putting God first, setting high goals, working hard, enjoying the moment. And so that second one, setting high goals, the goals have to be, in the world standard, unrealistic. And I just remember, I remember when I was in my junior year, going into my junior year in high school, I didn't start any game. And I had 14 touchdowns coming off the bench. And I was behind Jason Comar. Shout out Big J. He was all-state running back. And I remember telling my older brother, Duran, who was getting ready to go into his senior year, was going to go to the University of Notre Dame. I said, two things are going to happen by the time this year is over. Even though you're a senior, I'm going to be more popular than you. And he was like, how you going to do that? I'm like, I don't know. I said, the other thing is I'm going to score 35 touchdowns or more. He's like, how you going to do that? I said, well, if we get to state, that's 15 games. I'm going to score at least 2 touchdowns every game. He looked at me like I was crazy.
Right.
He's like, them goals are unrealistic. And so on my way to scoring and us going into, I think we made it to the Final Four that year, and we got beat by Louisville Male, and they beat us, and Louisville Male to win the state championship. But I ended up that year with 2,400 yards rushing and 42 touchdowns. It all started with unrealistic goals. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like goals that I knew that I have to push farther than I've ever been before, run a little bit harder, have my mind focused, go into every game where, as you say, I'm going to eat. And if the other team ain't ready, that's just too bad for them. I've got to go, like human, other people, opponents, other people's feelings, in order, but it wasn't going to get in the way of the goal. Yeah, I mean, you said something the other show that caught a lot of traction, where you said, why not accept the challenge of being great? Yeah. Why not be great? Why not, set those high goals? Why, try to accomplish that stuff? Why not say, I'm going to score, 30 touchdowns, and people can look at you like it's crazy, but why not? Try to be great at what you do. Set those goals and set that standard high. I remember going into the last game that year we played against Campbell County, and I scored 7 touchdowns in that game. 7. Wow. And I still wasn't done. I was like, well, we got to go. And everybody's like, well, what made you just keep on driving after that team? Well, it didn't matter what the score was after a while. Like, there was one goal, and that was to go be great. And it was to go dominate the opponent. And if they wasn't ready, then that was just too bad for them. They picked the wrong team to go against. They picked the wrong school to go against. And I carried that attitude in Alabama, and I carried it in Seattle. Like, it's still beautiful to me to see how our fans react and their confidence on game day in Seattle on Sundays. It wasn't like that when I got there. But I just remember all the guys around me. I was like, look, I don't care what anybody else is doing. People are going to feel that they're going to lose, or they're going to just be a statistic on our show once the thing's over with. And I look at it now and I'm like, yep, that's how Alabama, yep, that's how people should feel when they play against Seattle, yep, that's how they should feel when they play against Seattle. Like, that's the thing. You set up these goals that are so big and gaudy that, like, you look at most people and you say, do you think you could win if you played Alabama in Alabama? The answer is no. Yeah, do you think you can win? You're a professional team. Do you really think you're going to win if you play Seattle in Seattle? The answer is no. Well, if y'all go into my bedroom back in Florence, Kentucky, I had a couple simple rules. We don't lose in Florence. I got to Tuscaloosa. We don't lose in Tuscaloosa. Right. I got to Seattle. We don't lose in Seattle. Those are just simply life goals. Like, if anybody ever came here, like, no one's going to be able to come into the house and leave with the eggs. Right. No, that's so right. Wow. You're listening to Finish the Game. I'm Claude Jennings. He's the 2005 NFL MVP, Sean Alexander. And we're talking about setting goals that some people may consider, or even we can consider, unrealistic, but still setting those goals and trying to reach those unrealistic goals. And Sean, one thing about trying to reach goals that are that big is that you can't accomplish it by yourself. You've got to have a team around you. You do. And that's the biggest part of setting goals is actually only thing that can be a realistic is your team. That's the only thing that you can say, well, I need a quarterback. I need 5 stud linemen that can go play, and they're going to play their tails off. You look at your family. Well, the husbands, you need your wife. She's got to be a part of it. The kids, they got to understand order. That's got to be a part of it. And when everybody starts understanding like what their roles are, they actually have a chance to go be great. And it's one of the beautiful things I think of when I talk about setting goals. I think, and I want to tell this to all you men, you know what? To be a great husband and still hold it down at the work front is possible. It's actually not unrealistic.
You don't have to sacrifice one for the other.
You don't. You actually can say, you know what? I'm gonna go work this 9 to 5 or this 10 to 6. I'm gonna go do this job. And when I come home, the kids are going to know I'm involved. The wife's going to know that she's more valuable. You actually don't have to do one or the other. And actually, you can actually stir your wife to know that you're not choosing something over her. And actually, you can actually help her know that she doesn't have to push you away because you're working. Like all of that is realistic. That is actually fundamentally possible, clear across the board, if your goal is set and you're willing to do the work that it takes for that foundation to be built.
Wow. Great advice there from Shaun Alexander. We're talking about, again, those unrealistic goals and team. Talk about the power of a team, man, because, again, NFL season's right around the corner and the college football season's right upon us. And we've seen these guys, from draft picks to recruiting, try to set these teams in motion. What are you looking for when you're trying to put together a good team? And obviously you have experience with that when it comes to football, but a lot of us trying to put together teams and groups in our lives, but also want to be good teammates ourselves.
You know what? I think that it always starts with that goal. So like we have the goal, we're going to be good, but how do you be the best and have it be clear? Football, it's simple. We want to win all the games. You know what I mean? And so once you have winning all the games as the goal, then you kind of break it down to, well, let's get to winning the practice. Let's get to winning every rep. Let's get to winning every play. I was just talking to, my older brother, Duran, his son, Austin. And, they've played 4 games so far in their little midget league. They have not given up a first down.
Nice.
I was like, hey, what have you ever scored? They're like, we ain't give up a first down. I said, how did you get those kids to not give up a first down? He said, we have one rule, win this play. And so that's what you do. And so when you're building a team, the goals have to be clear and understood. We're going to win it all. We're going to go undefeated. We're going to win every play. And so when you get to the win every play, now you can get everybody into, okay, here's your role. Here's how you do your job. And it gets to become pretty amazing when everybody understands from the top all the way down, if I do my job, I'm going to win. Right. And my job was always really easy. Run the ball, no fumbles, score the touchdown, protect the quarterback. My right-hand man, my bodyguard was the fullback. The quarterback's right-hand man was me. Yeah. And so I've got to protect him. And so all a part of that, I had to always train to get better at being a good bodyguard as well as being the guy that puts the coconut in the end zone. Right.
And that's what's interesting, because sometimes I think, we don't have a problem with the team concept when it's us putting the ball in the end zone,
right?
When we get the shot, but it's that concept of taking one for the team, that we seem to have an issue with. Talk about the importance of understanding, this team concept it's not always about me, and sometimes I will have to take one for the team for us all to be successful.
Yeah, I'm always amazed. Of course, my wife has had 8 pregnancies, and so I'm always amazed that when she goes down and she's in the nauseous stage and she's in the I can't do like I used to do. What battles I have with, man, should I have to watch all the kids and make all the money? And well, yeah, that's just this season. Like, you know what? Hey, I know I got to score the touchdowns, but I also got to pick up this blitzing linebacker, you know? Yeah. And part of me is like, hey, coach, if you just send me out for a pass, he's got to cover me. Why I got to block him? You know what I mean? Like, I want to make it the easiest way for me. That's in us all. Well, it's the same way with husbands. Well, do I have to listen to my wife's complain about everything? Well, you know what? Sometimes you do. And when it comes to children, well, do I have to be the one to discipline the kids? I'm already doing all the making of the money, or, I think at the end of the day, if to be the one that's exalted, the MVP of the team, of the family, there's some times where you got to be a little bit grimy, where you might have to run a little bit more when you don't feel like you have to. And that was hard for me to learn, Right. But in family and marriage, it made sense to be. And so I have to always constantly say, well, hold on, here's this moment where I got to do those extra laps. But you're already MVP. You're already the father. I got to do those extra laps. Why? Because I've got to be there when everybody else falls apart, or my job is really just to kind of pick up the mess when no one else can do it. That's part of being a leader. And that's the role of every family, every team. Everybody gets their role, but you know that there's the sweet stuff. You know, we're eating the strawberries, and then there's the grimy stuff. We got to dig the hole.
Right. Yeah. And speaking of roles, speaking of a team, you know, one role that's important on the team is the role of coach. And you have a special guest for us, Sean.
Oh, yeah. So I'm excited. We should call him the running back specialist. I think we're going to call him that today, the running back specialist. For our show, Coach Ivy Williams. He's my running back coach at Alabama. He started off at the University of St. Xavier up in Cincinnati. Most of y'all would know that from the crosstown shootouts, Xavier versus Cincinnati for basketball. But he was on the last Xavier football team. And then from on, I know he coached in the pros a couple years with the Detroit Lions and Texas Tech in college. So a legend in my eyes, one of my father figures, my hero on the football field. One of the greatest running back coaches in all time, all history, Coach Ivy Williams. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Sean. How about you, my man?
I'm doing good. Welcome to Finish the Game.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, Coach, we got to jump right into college football, and you are such a great role in me coming to the University of Alabama and then also playing and upping my game. Your role is amazing. Can you tell the world? One of the greatest things you want to establish with all running backs, especially all the ones you coached?
Well, like yourself, I was really fortunate, to be able to coach some really fine athletes, guys that, had their head on straight and had, an idea of what they wanted to do in the future. Some guys come there, they always look to, the NFL. But, some guys also have, after NFL, what I plan on doing, what I'm going to do. Like yourself, I had opportunity to recruit and coach some guys that, were going to be successful, whatever they were going to do. But while we were together, like always, I tried to get a guy that if he had the opportunity or the plan to go to the NFL, be an all-around player, be able to play without the ball in his hands. And if in our meetings, what we always talk about, everybody has a job to do, and you got to do your job. Because if you expect those guys to block for you in the running play, you got to protect the quarterback and be that kind of guy when you don't have the ball in your hand,
Oh, I definitely remember those moments. You was like, you got to protect the quarterback. And if they do crack a hole open, you got to get everybody back to the sidelines. There was a go score. That was your motto.
That was it.
Nah, Coach. So thank you again for being on the show. And we're looking at today's college games. You've got three running backs that everybody's talking about: Fournette at LSU, McCaffrey at Stanford, and who's our boy Cook at Florida State?
Dalvin Cook at Florida State. Yeah.
Who you think's the best of those three guys?
Well, again, go back to, being in a room with me and, talking to you guys, it always a guy who can do more than one thing. You got to be able to do more than one thing and to be a dynamic player, Again, you got to be able to catch the ball coming out of the backfield, run a route, protect the quarterback that we just talked about, and do what you do best. Run the football. You got to have eyes, and you got to trust your eyes. And when I watch those guys play, I watch the guy that does the thing natural, that trusts his eyes and not run up on the guard or the tackle or have to step around guys or going down without being tackled. The thing is, like I always say, make them tackle you. Don't make it easy on them by stumbling and falling. Make them tackle you. I know that the young man at LSU is getting a lot of publicity for that, because, again, now, he ran wild for, the first 7 or 8 games. But that first week in November when he played some people that know how to take the edge off and make you run off tackle with some power, it didn't look good. But every time I watch the young man at Stanford play, you can't find him. You don't know if he's going to be out wide, he's going to be in the backfield going motion. But the guy that excites me is the guy out of Florida State. And I know he's been deemed, and he hadn't last. But if he ever lasts and play a full season, I think the guy is going to be terrible. He's going to give people problems.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think he's a sight. I mean, you remember the Clemson game? He broke the first or second carry for the game, and everybody was like, "Uh-oh." Yeah, no, he's a talent. Well, let's talk about the Bama guys. What do you think? What do we think about? You got Bo and Damon.
This is the first time now, Sean. This is the very first time they haven't had a guy come back to his plate. Ever since Ingram has been there, it's been a guy that they had to rotate in there. Then last year. That horse.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
Nobody play.
Yeah,
he didn't let nobody play.
He didn't know what to touch the ball.
That's it. That horse will let nobody play or practice. I heard.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that worries me. I know they got Scarborough and he's been beaten up, and they got a young man from Kentucky.
Yeah, Damon Harris.
Pretty impressive, but. So, but the only thing that I'm a little hesitant about is that they haven't got anybody that has been in that fight, has been in them stadiums when there's, like Tennessee or down at Auburn or at LSU, or down in the swamp, because that environment, you talk about you want it until you get in there. You talk about I want this. This is why I came to Alabama, and then now, all right, you're the man. Show me. And see, that's the thing I got, I can say about you among all the guys that have ever coached and you played is that the situation was never too big for you. You always answered the bell. Not many guys can do that. Well, had a bad game. I can't say that about you. You answered the bell.
Oh no, thank Coach. No, Coach. With all that, I'll give you a little pro question. Before we let you go, who out of all the pro guys? Because I'm thinking about starting the. You're going to be officially our running back specialist, so it's going to be in the pro game and the college game. So we'll get many times to talk with you, and we know we've kept this one short. But who in the pro game still impresses you today?
The Vikings.
Oh yeah, Adrian Peterson.
Adrian, yeah. I like his style.
Yeah.
I really like him.
When I got to the
young
league,
guy, they say the young guy. I haven't seen a whole lot. The kid from L.A. now. St. Louis. They say he got some talent, but
Todd Gurley.
Peterson. I'm a fan of Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, so you got Todd Gurley and Adrian Peterson. Now that's nice.
Now, Coach, I've got a vested interest in these Dallas Cowboys, and so there's a lot of talk going on about Ezekiel Elliott. And what do you think that transition from college to the pros? I mean, he killed in Ohio State. How do you think he's going to transition to the pros? Does he have what it takes, like from your eye, to be a good pro?
Like I said, I like to watch those guys on Saturday and see what they do. Again, to see the vision. You see, if they don't have a hole there, them five guys up there working hard as they can. Sometimes they get beat. Now, hey. What are you going to do when you go there in that guy's line of scrimmage? You going to run up his back? When you see a guy doing that, he's running with his eyes closed. He don't trust his eyes. That's what I'm saying. It's easy. I'd be flipping through that channel and saying, man, I can't watch this guy keep doing that. Who was the running back coach over there? I'd be saying.
That's great, Coach.
So did Zeke have what it takes last year? It looks like he's got pretty good vision.
No, he was the first guy taken, but he wasn't the best guy. He was the first guy taken, but he wasn't the best guy.
We feel you on that, Coach. Well, Coach, you know what? As we go, we want you to keep an eye on all college sports and NFL.
I got to do that.
That's right. And we will call you back, and we're gonna probably set up. Clyde, what do you think? We'll set up the finish the game running back of the month, and maybe the finish the game running back of the year. And we might pass out some awards and get a picture of me and you on it, Coach, and give it to these players.
Okay. Hey, fellas, it sounds great. And I really appreciate it.
No doubt. All right, y'all. Finish the game. That was Coach Ivy Williams. Thanks, Coach.
All right, buddy.
Man, that was my coach, Coach Ivy Williams. Man, I'm so thankful for him. I can't tell you all the things that he taught me about being a man besides playing football.
Yeah.
But I like it. Finish the game running back of the month.
We should do that.
And of the year. I think that would be good. Maybe we send them because I was one of the greatest awards I liked was when they sent me like a ring.
Right.
So maybe we can send like the running backs of the month like a
little
flyer,
bubblegum ring.
And then
put a little quarter in.
And then we'll get like a real deal one. Like, this might take over the Heisman.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's more coveted, and then we'll do an award show every year and try to put it on ESPN or something.
Is that unrealistic? All right, everybody.
That's a big goal.
Hey,
Yeah,
everybody watch out
Finish
now.
the game award. No, that'd be huge. There's some big games, by the way.
Yeah.
Coming up. But by the way, if anybody, we're actually, serious about that. I mean, whether it's through social media, if you've seen someone, a running back performing very well and you want them to get to finish the game, running back of the week or of the month, send that in. Also go to SeanAlexander.com, click contact, and you can send it in via email that way. But there's some pretty big games coming up to open up the college football season. I love that too. And I think the playoff may have something to do with that, where if you schedule some of these big teams, one loss to a good team may not hurt your chances of getting in the playoff.
Right.
I think that Kansas State-Stanford game that's happening on the 2nd of September, that Friday's that's going to be a pretty big game too. But you got Oklahoma against Houston. I think that's a pretty big game.
Oklahoma's okay.
LSU against Wisconsin. That's a pretty big game. UCLA, Texas A&M. It's just great to see these big schools. But we've got Sunday, Notre Dame, Texas is a big game.
That's big.
On Monday, Ole Miss and Florida State. That's a big deal. Clemson and Auburn's a big deal. But the big one. USC, Bama.
Oh, man, I feel so bad for them Trojans.
And I believe that's going to be in Texas. Texas State, Jerry World.
You know what? And I was actually going to go to that game. But my big brother, my oldest of my half brothers, Big Dante, he's getting married, so I actually will not be in Dallas. I'm so bummed. Everybody's like, "Does your brother not know that college football started?" I was like,
Well, see, this is the thing. It's like, because I got married in September as well, September 19th, and it didn't dawn on me when we were planning. Like, wait a minute, wait. That's on a Saturday during football season, and like and here's the thing: every single year after that, we're going to be celebrating the anniversary during college football season.
Yeah, it's going to really wrestle with how valuable your anniversaries are.
So you just don't be thinking when love's involved, man. Your mind goes crazy. You don't even think about things that are important as well.
Right.
Man. Just don't think about it.
Man, it's great. So, I'm pumped for this week, man. I know you are. Everybody, if you find that finish the game running back that you think needs to be shouted out or brought up to, go on to SeanAlexander.com. That's my email. You can get on Instagram. That's Finish the Game 37. You can get on my Facebook. That's at Sean Alexander, or you can get on to Twitter at Sean Alexander. But either way, we want you all to be great game finishers. Finish the game. Go Bama.
Finish the game.